Hi, today I'm going to show you how not to animate. In this video, I'm reanimating a scene from Chainsaw Man, the opening. Make sure to stick to the end because I have an exciting announcement, so stay tuned. Okay, for those of you who don't know, I'm a huge anime fan. I found a multi-animator project, or a map for short, that is recreating the opening of the Chainsaw Man anime, created by Studio Mappa. I remember watching the first season as it was airing and knew how much I was gonna love it. Anyway, I chose this scene with Denji's character because he kind of grew on me. He's pretty vulgar, juvenile, and I remember thinking, man, this guy is so unserious all the time. Which is why I chose this cut where he's laying down on Makima's lap and he looks super peaceful, for once. And if you have read the manga, do not spoil anything in my comment section, please and thank you. Anyway, now this isn't exactly a tutorial on how to animate, rather these are just a few tips on what not to do for people getting into animation. If a tutorial is something you're interested in, let me know in the comments below. However, I'm still working on my personal pipeline and how I like to make things work, and as I get more confident in how I explain things, I could make a video like that. While I do have a bit of experience with animation, this time I decided to get a little silly. I was doing the keyframes and the rough animation thinking, it's not quite there yet, but it's good enough, I'll fix it later. If you aren't familiar with animation, the keyframes are just drawings that define the beginning, middle, and end of an action. As I was saying, I was a little careless. Do not do this. I repeat, do not do this. Take your time when doing rough animation. Make sure it's exactly how you want before you start doing your line art. If you make a mistake earlier on, it means you have to do a ton of backtracking. I say this because when I was drawing my in-betweens, they were looking a little choppy. But I didn't feel like doing the rest because I really wanted to finish this. My favorite part of animating is coloring, so I just wanted to get it over with. That isn't to say I don't like rough animation, in fact I like it a lot. It's just for this project, I didn't want to do it. Anyway, my problem was that I was doing my line art and watching it over and realized, damn, this is really choppy. So then I added more in-betweens, and again, I got bored and wanted to move on. But once I started coloring, I looked at it again and I said, this still needs more in-betweens. And so I had to draw new line art, and I had to draw more coloring, which was super frustrating. So if you take one thing from this video, make sure you're confident with your rough animation before coloring and lining. You may notice this later, but I do a coloring technique where I use red to indicate where I want the light to be. This is done often in animation studios so the colorists know where something needs to be highlighted or needs to shadow. If you're working on your own, it's still good to use. For example, if you're animating something the night before and then you wake up the next morning and you forget all your lighting ideas. So it's still beneficial to give it a try. I recommend it. Now, I see people doing shading in their animation programs, but I wanted to try something a little different again. I decided to use the program After Effects to color in my shading. That was something that I discovered that I wanted to try to optimize my animating process. I did not include footage of me working in After Effects because I was scared of running OBS at the same time and crashing both of my programs. I'm very sorry about that. But I wouldn't recommend doing it this way. If you have lots of effect layers and things like that stacked up on top of each other with a weak computer like mine, it may not be able to handle all of that. In fact, I had some problems where it did crash and I had to start over again. So if I was to redo this project, I would do all that shading in Clip Studio and then do finishing touches like blurs in After Effects. After Effects, if you don't know, is the program that most animation studios use that I've seen for compositing. And if you don't know what compositing is, essentially, like I said before, it's to add finishing touches to your animations to make the characters blend in with the scene. You can do gradients, blurs, anything you really want, honestly. You can even do like other effects for animation. I saw many people hating on Studio Mappa for their use of 3D and CGI in their animes. For those of you who don't know, Studio Mappa has worked on Chainsaw Man, Attack on Titan, and I also think Yuri on Ice, but I have to verify that. They're not known for having the best working conditions for artists, and having very, very tight deadlines, and taking on way too many projects. Oftentimes I see people hating the quality of their work because of the way that they composite their models, their 3D models, etc. Anyway, the reason why I bring up Studio Mappa is because of the work environment that has been described. This isn't just a problem with that studio in particular, or even just in Japan. It's called crunch culture in the games industry. According to Wikipedia, it's defined as working 65 to 80 hours a week for an extended period of time, often uncompensated. So this tip isn't just for animators, but for like all creators. Take a break from your work. Do stretches to avoid things like carpal tunnel, wrist pain, back pain. Get outside, touch some freaking grass. You can search online for examples of stretches to do. Overworking yourself is 1, not good for your body and mind. 2, it's not good for your work as well. I noticed I would push myself to animate even when I was tired. I could barely open my eyes, but I was forcing myself to animate. And because of that, I would make careless mistakes that I would end up having to backtrack and fix later. So, don't think that, oh, I gotta grind. Well, yes, you have to grind, but within reasonable limits. Anyway, depressing work culture aside, let's get back to some more fun tips. So, naming layers. This is a problem that I fixed before getting too far. However, it's better to do it as soon as you open your canvas. As soon as you open that file and you name it, layer. Start naming your layers. I typically name my layers pretty vague when I'm doing drawings for myself or like quick warm-ups. But for a project like this, it's absolutely non-negotiable. I think at the end of animating this, I had around 11 animation layers. The formula I use is the letter of what like drawing it is. So if it's line art, L. If it's flat color, probably just use F. I can't remember if I put F in mine. Highlight, H, or shadow, S. For example, I would do H plant color, which was just highlight plant color. You can find your own little way to do it, but that's just, I like having the initial letter to find where my stuff is. So that way you don't lose that much time looking for mistakes or looking for stray pieces of lines that you don't know where they came from. Anyway, I wanted to talk about the animation industry's problems a bit more with crunch culture and things like that, but I don't think it matches the energy of this video. If that interests you, let me know. I really like learning about these sorts of things and sharing it with you guys. But yeah, that's how not to animate. To repeat what we learned here today: 1, make sure you have clear roughs and they're exactly how you want them to be. Number 2, do red highlights and blue shadows. Well, I didn't use blue shadows here, but you get what I'm talking about. Number 3, stretch. Number 4, I think it was, name your layers. And I think that's about it. Thank you for watching to the end of this video. I wanted to thank you guys for 2,000 subscribers. I know it's been like a whole month since I made a video, so if you're watching this all the way to the end, thank you very much. I had the flu, I had exams, I had many things keeping me busy. It was very stressful. I'm gonna try my best to keep uploading videos as often as I can. And as promised, I've been working on a Draw This in Your Style challenge for my Instagram to celebrate our new milestone. To enter, you have to be following me on Instagram. You have to create an illustration based off of my original piece. You can obviously change mediums if you want to do painting, sculpture, animation, if you want to do that. You can change the pose so long as the initial idea is still there. Anyway, if you use the hashtag that I will include in the video, because I haven't come up with a hashtag yet, you will get a free portrait, fully colored, everything, fully shaded. Thank you again for your continued support. I'm pretty excited to see what you guys decide to make. It should be open until the end of July. I think that's enough time for you guys, right? If not, you could probably just ask me for an extension. Anyway, thank you for your patience with me as I've been going through all this stuff. I have many video ideas that I'm working on and that I'd like to share with you. So, thank you for watching, and bye.